um, connect with all of you around something that I'm seeing coming up in my coaching practice with clients that we're spending a lot of time working our way through together. And I became inspired to pop on here and share with you a strategy. Hello, everyone. Shelley Wallace here. I'm not sure what just happened with my live stream. I thought I was live 2 seconds ago. So if I'm introducing myself for the second time, bear with me. I was inspired to pop on here and share something with you that is coming up with the clients that I'm working with. And it is a very simple strategy that I learned from Dr. Daniel Amen around managing our thoughts, specifically managing our negative thoughts. So as we're moving through this global crisis, it's very easy to have our thoughts carry us away and take us into very disempowering states like sadness, fear, resentment, frustration, anger, the whole gamut. I'm sure there are a lot of you who can relate to this. I know myself that I'm spending a lot of time making sure that I am practicing what Dr. Amen calls good mental hygiene habits and working hard at staying in control of my thoughts. Because what happens is we have certain thoughts that we think almost unconsciously. They're thoughts that come up in response to a trigger, and we are not always aware of what we're thinking, and we aren't always aware that some of the things that we're thinking we should not believe. So if I've confused you, just stay with me for a moment here. So the idea here is that right now there's so many stressors that we are surrounded by, whether you are an essential service worker, whether you are working from home, trying to homeschool your kids and parent your kids at the same time, whether you are a business who has been negatively impacted by COVID-19, whatever the case may be. I don't think any of us will deny that our stress levels are definitely, heightened because of the current circumstances. And so what can happen is there could be certain thoughts that creep into our minds that have the power to essentially ruin our day. So we could wake up feeling pretty good, and then there's something that happens that triggers a negative thought pattern. And then we do what Tony Robbins calls, we start to stack thoughts. So one negative thought leads to another negative thought and another and another and another. And these thoughts are stories essentially that we're telling ourselves, right? Like, I'm going to lose my business. I'm not going to get through another day. I'm sure I won't get approved for this loan. I don't know what I'm going to do. Or it could be, related to the kids. We went through the same thing yesterday, and why won't he or she just sit down and do the lesson? And why are they out to get me? And I told them that I have things to do, and they're getting in the way of that. And so that's another example of how we may be stacking negative thoughts. Whatever thoughts you may be stacking, there is a very simple and easy to use strategy that you can start to use right away today that will help give you perspective and create greater awareness around what you are thinking and then what emotions those thoughts are leading you to. So in those two examples that I gave, the first person, the business owner, thinking those kinds of thoughts will then begin to experience increased fear, despair, sadness, frustration, maybe anger, and the same with the parent. The parent may begin to experience resentment, frustration, and anger as well. So when you have these thoughts, they create emotions, and then those two things together create our reaction. And so in these kinds of circumstances, when stress levels are so high, not just for us, but for the people around us, we want to be responding and reacting to situations in a way that is calm and purposeful and not feeling out of control and reactive, which is oftentimes where we just go to by default because these negative thoughts are like automatic negative thoughts. So here is a strategy that you can begin to use. So if you find yourself in a disempowered state, so you're feeling some form of negative emotion, and you're noticing how poorly you're feeling in that moment. So the first thing is to think about your thinking. So what thoughts am I having right now that are leading me to feel sad? What thoughts am I having right now that are leading me to feel angry and resentful and frustrated? And then once you have identified that thought, the first step in transforming that thought and that emotion and then your reaction is to ask yourself, is this thought true? So is this thought that I'm having right now true? Is it absolutely true? How do I feel when I believe this thought? So the first step is ask yourself, is this thought true? Second step, ask yourself, is this thought absolutely true? The third step is to ask yourself, how do I feel when I think this thought? Then ask yourself, how would I feel if I didn't believe this thought? And then take the top 5 thoughts and turn them into the opposite and go through those first 3 steps again. So if the first thought that you're having, let's take the example of the parent who is trying to homeschool and parent and work from home all at the same time. So if you're having a thought like, these kids are out to get me, like I just feel like they're deliberately misbehaving to push my buttons. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Are they really out to get me? No, probably not. Is this thought absolutely true? No, it is not absolutely true. How do I feel when I believe this thought? Well, I feel resentful, I feel angry, I feel frustrated. Then how would I feel if I chose not to believe that thought? So how would I feel if I chose to believe instead that the kids are behaving this way for another reason, not because they're out to get me? I don't have to believe that thought. No, I don't think that's true. How do I feel when I don't believe that thought? Well, I feel relieved. I feel a little bit better. I feel a little more grounded. Then you can ask yourself to take that thought and ask, what is the opposite of this thought? Well, that the kids are not out to get me, that maybe the kids actually just want to spend more time with me, or maybe the kids have a need right now that they're trying to express to me. And then go through the process. Is this thought true? Well, yes, maybe it is true that they want more of my attention. Okay, is this thought absolutely true? Well, yes, it probably is. And then ask yourself the third question, how do I feel when I believe this thought? Well, I feel empowered. I feel more loving. I feel more open and receptive. I feel curious about why they really are putting these demands on me right now. And then you make a conscious choice and choose that thought instead. So there you have it. That is a 5-step process around breaking free from a disempowering state that you may be experiencing that's contributing significantly to your stress level. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you did, and if you try it, I would love for you to drop a comment in the comment section below this live video to let me know that you were here, that you watched it, that you found some value in it, and that you applied the strategy, and whether or not you found it helpful. You can also send me a message if you want to reach out because you have questions. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off now. I hope all of you have an amazing day, and I will see you again soon.